This video is sponsored by Car2Cover, the gap insurance experts. Visit their website for an instant online quotation and use the code JIM10 to get £10 off your purchase. These are all 3-year lease deals based on 3 months up front and 10,000 miles a year. Please use the link in the video description to check out the deals for yourself or to adjust the terms to something that suits you better, and it helps support the channel. Thanks. Hello folks, can you believe it's already May, and that means just one thing, it's time for the lease deals of the month. Please give the video a thumbs up, please subscribe if you haven't already done so, and let's crack straight on. So the cheapest deal I can find on anything this month that's in any way sensible is this Citroen C3 1.2 PureTech Shine, 12.5 seconds to 62, 83 brake horsepower, insurance group 14, 300 litres of boot space and 48.5 mpg, 584 quid up front, 194 a month. And if we have a look at where the price has been, if I can find it, here we go. Average price has been 255 quid over the last 12 months. As you can see, at the moment, it's as cheap as it's been, £194. At its peak, it was 315. Is a bit of a bargain. Next, we've got the Skoda Scala 1 litre TSI 95 SE technology, 10.9 seconds to 62, 95 brake horsepower, 53.3 mpg and 467 litres of boot space, 725 quid up front and 241 a month. Average price on it over the last 12 months has been 275 quid. You can see at its peak 341. Just a couple of weeks ago, actually, it was a bit less than this. It was 219 a month. That was about as low as it's been. But back in December at 300 quid a month. Currently 241 a month and 725 up front. And for a lot of people, they just don't need any more car than this. Onto the family cars, and we've got a lot in this section this month, including one very quick one. But we're starting off with the Kia Ceed, the 1.5 GDI ISG GT line, 845 up front and 281 a month. This one is a factory order. 0-62's 8.4 seconds on this one, insurance group 17, 395 litres of boot space, 49.6 mpg and 158 brake horsepower. I've actually got the X-Ceed coming this week for review, so you'll see that on the channel very soon. But the standard Ceed's a really nice car. It's got plenty of spec in the GT line as well. 10.25 inch touchscreen sat-nav, cloth and leather upholstery, heated front seats, privacy glass, Bluetooth, cruise control, etc. Price is just bang average really. It's a bit under the average, so 281 a month. The average on it's been 294 a month. Peak we saw was like just over 317 quid. So average in terms of the deal at the moment, but I just think, especially when we look at some of the other cars here, it looks like good value. Now, I will just mention as well the Kia Proceed shooting brake. As you can see, it's slightly more aggro, slightly more boot room, 8.6 seconds to 62, 48.7 mpg, insurance group 16, but 594 litres of boot space, so it's much more practical than the Ceed. 893 up front, 297 a month, so it really does look a bit of a deal. And it's that same GT line spec, and it really does look like great value, like really great value. Again, price wise, it's bang average, 297 a month, average is 304 a month, so not an amazing deal right now, but a great value deal kind of always. Now this one is quite a deal at the moment. It's the 1 litre Focus EcoBoost ST line, which is obviously quite a decent level of trim on a Focus. 896 up front, 298 a month. This one is a factory order, but as you can see, look at all the different trim levels. It's bonkers on these Fords. But the deal on the ST line does seem to be the standout winner at the moment when it comes to the old Foci. Let's have a look at where the price has been on it. So average price 344 quid. This time last year 342, July 359, October 388 and January 388. We're now 896 up front, 298 a month. Next, we've got the Astra. I'm just going to touch on this one briefly because we've seen it in quite a lot of recent videos. 9.7 seconds to 62, 52.3 mpg, 422 litres of boot space, insurance group 18 and 130 brake horsepower. This one is quite nicely spec'd. Average price 325, currently 312 with 937 up front. Then we've got the Seat Leon, the 1.5 TSI Evo Excellence Lux. There you go, that's a model name for you, isn't it? The Excellence Lux. 9.4 seconds to 62, 130 brake horsepower, 49.6 mpg and 380 litres of boot space. So a direct rival to the Seed, the Astra, the Focus. Lovely car to drive. Grand up front, 333 a month. Napa leather, media system with sat nav, 18-inch alloys, heated front seats. It's got a lot on it. It's got a lot. Average price 375 quid on this trim level. Back in May last year, 406. 417 in October, 384 in Feb, and then it just dropped down. Currently 333.98 with £1,001 up front. Really nice car, really good deal. Next we've got the Mazda CX-5. I love a CX-5, they're brilliant cars. I actually had one for 3 years and did about 70,000 miles in it. Just an all-round brilliant car that you really can't go too far wrong with. It's the 2-litre eSkyActiv G mild hybrid Homura. 10.5 seconds to 62, 165 brake horsepower, insurance group 18, 43.5 mpg and 522 litres of boot space. So some really decent numbers on that one. 1200 up front and £400 a month. As you can see, there are loads of options across the trim levels there, and you've obviously got options with automatic and manual. Probably makes about 20 quid a month difference to go up to an auto. If we look at where the price has been, the average price on this car has been £507, and currently it's £400 per month with 1200 up front. So it's a great price. Just in November, 614 quid a month. January, 450 a month. March, 427. We're now £400 a month, 1200 up front. I really do think that one's a stonking deal, folks. And the CX-5, if you've never driven one, is a lovely, lovely thing to drive. Next, we've got the spicy Skoda for you. It's the Octavia VRS Estate, 2-litre petrol, 640 litres of boot space, 40 mpg, insurance group 26, 245 horsepower and 0 to 62 in 6.7 seconds. This is also an automatic, and it's a very good automatic. 1242 up front and £414 a month is the price for this one. And just look at this, the average price on that car has been £491, and it's been fairly steady through the year, really. 530 in June, 546 in October, 536 in January. If we go back right to May of last year, 567 a month. Currently 414 with £1,242 up front. That is your thinking man's estate car there. Brilliant thing. If you want the slightly less interesting version of it with a slightly bigger boot, very slightly, you've got the Passat estate. It's the 1.5 litre Evo R-Line DSG. Again, automatic. Again, huge estate. This one's just not as quick, basically. 8.9 seconds to 62, 42.8 mpg and 150 brake horsepower, insurance group 21, 1300 up front and 437 a month. It's a little bit more than it has been in the last couple of months, just fractionally. As you can see, in March it was 421, it's now at 437, but the average price over the last year has been 494. And look, you can see the peaks there, 566 in October. So 437.99 per month, with £1,313 up front. Onto the electrics, we've got the DS3. Odd looking things, some people like them, a lot of people don't. It's not a bad little entry point for an EV here. DS is obviously the luxury brand of Citroën. 200 miles of range, 136 horsepower, 29 is the insurance group and 350 litres of boot space. At its peak, 633 quid a month, can you believe? I bet they didn't go too many at that price. The average on it's been 479 a month, currently 977 up front, 325 a month. Moving on to the Peugeot E2008, we've seen this one a lot lately, so I'm going to whiz through it. 1165 up front, 388 a month, 206 miles of range, insurance group 26, 434 litres of boot space. And the average on it's been 416 a month, currently 388. And then we've got one of my favourite EVs that I've ever driven. I'd love to have one of these. If I were to buy an EV at the moment, it might actually be one of these. It's the Ioniq 5, 125 kilowatt SE Connect, 58 kilowatt hour. 238 miles of range in this one, although there are longer range versions available. 170 brake horsepower, insurance group 29, and 527 litres of boot space. This one, by the way, is the rear wheel drive. You can also get all wheel drive variants for these. 503 has been the average price. Back this time last year, 521 a month. In October, 575. In March, 581. In April, 581. Currently 471 with 1414 up front. Next, we've got the Tesla Model 3 long range all-wheel drive automatic, 374 miles of range, 351 brake horsepower, insurance group 50, boot space is 542 litres, 1700 up front, 577 a month. You can also get the standard range one for 38 quid a month less, but I would go for the long range for that much for price difference, in fairness. 4.2 seconds to 62. These things go like stink. Lovely thing to drive. Don't believe a lot of what you hear about Tesla. The comments are usually made by people that have never been near one, or certainly haven't been near one of the newer ones. Average price, 681 quid. This time last year, 783. Then it went up to 821. Then we had a little dip when the price cuts were announced, and then it's sort of come down a little bit. I think this is about as cheap as it's been in the last 12 months, in fairness. 1,731 up front, 577 a month. I think they're brilliant cars. Just go and test drive one if you don't believe me, or check out my review that's in the back catalogue somewhere. Car2cover.co.uk is sponsoring today's video, so we're going to have a look at a gap insurance quote for that Tesla. Now, Car2Cover is a dedicated insurance broker, authorised and regulated by the FCA, underwritten by a major global insurer. No faceless call centres, folks, just good, honest advice and service. So let's get a quote now for that Tesla based on the information we've seen there in that lease. It's just £199 for 3 years gap insurance cover. The maximum payout on that policy, by the way, is 50 grand. You're obviously never going to need all that, so it's more than enough cover for you. It also covers you for up to 3 months advance rentals on another lease to replace this one in the event that your car is written off. They'll even pay you 250 quid towards your car insurance excess in the event of the car being written off. Really, lots of peace of mind for under 200 quid for 3 years cover. I really think that's a bit of a bargain, folks. Please get your quote from Car2Cover. You can either go on the website and get it like I just have, or you can give them a call. But at the moment, you do need to call them to get that discount because there's nowhere to put a discount code in on the website. Their number's 01438 870 615. As I said, lovely people, great advice. Check them out. Next, we've got a van for you. Remember that, folks, the prices on the vans are always plus VAT. On everything else, they include VAT, but on this, you need to put your 20% VAT on. This is the ID Buzz Cargo, 150 watt commerce, 77 kilowatt hour automatic, 356 miles of range, 1,290 up front and 430 a month. Now, these came out in September at 636 a month. Then in October, 671 a month. 582 in November. I think we had the low point was here. 423 was the cheapest they've been. Then back up to 460-ish. So the prices have been really erratic, and it's currently £430 a month with 1,290 up front. Don't forget though, plus VAT. Onto the SUVs, we're starting off with the Seat Tarraco. It's a big old beastie, 7 seats in this one, 2 litre TDI FR Sport, so it's quite a decent trim level, 10.2 seconds to 62, 150 horsepower, insurance group 21, 230 litres of boot space is quoted there, but that's with that back row of seats up. If they're down, it's more like 800, 50.4 mpg, 1,367 up front, 455 a month. Good price on this one. Average price has been 517 quid over the last year. If we go back to this time last year, 487, 508. In December, 550. In March, 633. Currently 455 a month, 1,367 up front. Similar car now, we've got the Skoda Kodiaq, again a 7-seat. Again, it's quoting 270 litres of boot space, but that's with that back row of seats up. 9.8 seconds to 62, 150 horsepower, group 23 on the insurance, and 45.9 mpg. This is the 2 litre diesel Sportline 4x4 DSG. 1,400 up front, 466 a month. And look at this, average price 533, high point there back in May last year, 635 quid a month, folks. Then December 545, January 529, April 551. Currently 466 a month with 1400 up front. Next we've got the Mazda CX-60 again, big SUV, 2.5 litre plug-in hybrid, exclusive line, automatic, 5.8 seconds to 62, 327 brake horsepower, 570 litres of boot space, 544 a month with 1664 up front, and average price of 596. And let's have a look. This time last year, 630 quid, 641 in September, 618 in January, currently 554 with 1664 up front. Onto the execs, we've got the Audi A4 Saloon. This is the 35 TFSI S-Line S-Tronic Automatic, just under 1200 up front and just under 390 a month. This is the S-Line, which is the one that you should get when you get an Audi pretty much. Average price 432 quid a month. Back in May last year, 425. In November, 440. In January, 497. Currently 389.93 with just under £1,200 up front. Next we've got the Big Daddy. Ooh, I want one of these. Audi A8 Saloon, 50 TDI Quattro Sport Tiptronic Automatic, 5.9 seconds to 62, 40.4 mpg, 286 brake horsepower, insurance group 45, and 505 litres of boot space. And this is a glorious looking car. It's a huge land barge. It's going to caress your bottom as you take it down the M3. It's a lovely thing. 2,244 up front and 748 a month. And that compares quite favourably against the numbers for most of the rest of the last 12 months. Average price has been £898.74. This time last year, it was just over £1,000 for one of these, £1,000 a month, 1,056. Back in June, 1,028. November 974, January just over £1,000, currently 748 a month with 2,244 the initial payment. There are a couple more exec cars coming up, but they're quite quick, like really quick, so I've put them into the quick car section, which we've got now. Not ridiculously good price at the moment, this one, but it's a lot of car for your money. 1,329 up front, 443 a month. VW Golf 300 GTI Club Sport. It's got the automatic gearbox, 5.6 seconds to 62, 300 horsepower, 374 litres of boot space, insurance group 29 and 38.7 mpg. The average price on it's been 461 quid, currently 443. Then the big dogs are still available, folks. The BMW 8 Series Gran Coupe 840i M Sport, 5.4 seconds to 62, 333 brake horsepower, 33 mpg, 440 litres of boot space and insurance group 44, 2,346 up front and 782 a month compared to an average of 878 per month. So it's 100 quid or more less than the average. Now if we go up to the M8 competition version of the car, that's £3,500 up front and 1,180 a month. That's 3.2 seconds to 62, 625 brake horsepower, insurance group 50 and 24.6 mpg. But just look at this. Wow. Average price 1,826, despite it now having been discounted for a couple of months. Still the average price £1,826 against just under £1,200 that we've got now. Back in June, £2,500 a month. October 2,255, January 2,171, and then we saw the price drop, and really the prices have been exceptional ever since. Folks, please use that link to Lease Loco if you're interested in any of these deals. Please give the video a thumbs up and please subscribe and click the notification bell. It'd also be great if more of you watch some of the other videos that I produce on the channel, things like the car reviews, maybe the car news. Lots of effort goes into it, and yeah, it'd be great to get a bit more support. Thanks again for watching, folks. I'll see you on the next one.